My name is Don Lee. I'm one of the first residents moving to Liberty Court. So, for the very qualified and capable people of the board, perhaps here's a suggestion. If you truly are going to be negotiating with the PEPs in New York City, why don't you have the courage to tell the governor to table this IRP until you truly have an opportunity to work out the details of the PEPs? And if they can't handle the job, let's talk about it. But until then, do you have the courage to tell the governor? I think the community has spoken, and many elected officials have spoken. Table it. Truly get the, if you want to ask input, I think the community has to give input. Everyone here wants them to table this or just do away with this until you truly have an opportunity to talk to people who have been protecting it for all these years. And while you're at it, with the very smart and capable people, here's something that you really should put your energy on. And the question is accountability and trust. I think based on the debacle with the marina, that's why we're all here. But here's something you can really work on. When I first moved from Liberty Court to Liberty Terrace, no problem. Sold my apartment, moved to a bigger apartment, get my loan, everything's done. I tried, my neighbors and myself are all trying, say, hey, it's right now, interest rates are low. Let's refinance our mortgage. I have been denied by all three major banks. If you walk in Wall Street and you have that capability, I went to the board managers and they said, well, there's nothing we can do. It really is the BatteryPark City Authority to deal with the issue of the ground lease that's going to expire in 2069. That's the reason why we do it. So why don't you focus on things that really matters to us and not remove things that we like? Deal with things that we don't like. Can we do that?
Fine. But wait a minute. Don't go away. Let me answer the question about the ground leases. And for those who aren't in this exact issue, there are a bunch of leases around here in Battery Park City. They all have various expiration dates. They all expire in 2069. But there are terms and resets along the 99 years that this lease was written for. And there are periods in the future when the ground rent would not be known. So if you have a condominium and you go to get a mortgage and you can't tell the bank what your common charge is going to be after year X, they're not going to give you a mortgage. Okay?
I didn't have that problem 15 years ago.
Okay.
I have the problem now.
Hold on. But understand, if you're in a condominium, if the condominium comes to us and says we want to renegotiate our ground rent and its expiration date and this stuff, we are in those negotiations all the time. All the time. We have, 11?
Not according to my board management. Liberty residents said it's up to you guys to make that happen.
That is absolutely not true. You're misinformed.
Please, maybe you should go to my next board meeting and we can go over that.
2069 should not be your problem.
Maybe if you live here and have a mortgage to refi, then you know what the problem is.
Hold on. 2070 minus 15. Isn't he talking 55 years in the future? 53 years in the future?
But my refi loans are being denied now. And my credit rating is just as good as anybody else. So it is not my credit rating. And all my neighbors having the same problem. So you don't seem to listen.
Wait a minute. If your condominium board comes to us with a request,
I tell you
we're
what,
going to work with it.
Why don't you go look to buy an apartment in BatteryPark City and then not go give you the bank? And if the denial is because...
But we have it now.
Right, so again, let's work on this and not worry about things that are working. The PEP, they're fine.
Okay.
The marina, we're fine. So work on things that really matter to us.
Okay. I am out of time. This is going to have to be the last question, at least for me.
Good afternoon. Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Croft. I'm president of New York City Park Advocates, and I'm very happy that all of you guys came out to this very important thing.
Okay.
There is nothing more important than public safety, and I would like to ask everyone in this room to raise their hands if they're not affiliated with the BatteryPark City Authority. I'd like to raise their hands if they were and they saw the issuance of the RFP about that. Please raise your hands. Not a single person. Dennis.
We've talked about
Dennis.
We've talked about PEP for 35 or 40 minutes.
Right, and it's super important. It's very
I know
important
it's important,
to the
but what
public
else
safety.
can we say?
Dennis, Dennis, relying on the issuance of an RFP to inform the residents that you supposedly represent is absurd. If you had an idea that you wanted to deal with regarding PEP, you bring it to these people who live there. You bring it to the community board. There's lots of ways for you to do this. And Dennis, hang on a second. And hiding behind some corporate governance is, again, absurd. Okay? These are the people, these are the faces, these are the lives and the public safety that these decisions impact. So what I think what is clear here is the public wants to know, is Battery Park City Authority committed to maintaining the present amount of park enforcement officers as exists right now?
We're not going to respond to that question. We can't do it. We're in negotiations now. We're not going to respond to that.
This is nothing about negotiations. This is about a philosophy. Are you committed to maintaining the same amount?
Our philosophy when we entered into the process was to be certain that when we come out the other side, nothing is going to change in a negative way for the residents of Battery Park City. That is our philosophy. That is our objective.
And
we can argue with different sides.